Good evening. This is a public hearing on a liquor license for Roberta Searles? Searles, okay, thank you, I'm sorry. The 109 Restaurant. And if you would like to come up to the microphone, we're on TV and you can tell us what's going on.
My husband's going to speak for me because I've been ill.
Okay.
If I talk too much, I start coughing.
Stop talking. What's come to pass here is that in order for our son to have this restaurant that he wanted to have, that he can't have now because of his personal reasons, but in order for the restaurant to survive, we've taken it over. And the lease is now in my wife's name. Alan is not involved with management. He's basically just going to work as a cook, and that's his only connection to the restaurant. And if the board has any questions, we're certainly happy to answer.
Okay. A couple of things. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out, I was looking for a file. First of all, we won't be voting on it tonight because we
Okay.
have to do some background after you present to us at a public hearing. We have to hear other people if anybody has any concerns.
Absolutely.
And then we'll let you know, we'll give you a date that we're
I'm-
going to come back and
I'm pretty familiar with the process. I've been a selectman in Kennybunk for the last 7 years.
oh, okay, all right, not a problem then. One thing that, I talked to our code enforcement yesterday, and what you can do is you can go down and talk to him. You're gonna have to apply for a conditional use permit. Now, I'm told your son applied for one, but I couldn't find it in the files. There was one there before, but it was to the name of Krabby Beer LLC. So you will have to apply for one and
Conditional use.
conditional use permit. It's already been approved before for a restaurant there, but things may have changed from the time that Krabby Bear is open till now, where the planning board or zoning changed or something like that, and they'll have to come and do an inspection. The other thing that we're asking is if you could get in touch with our fire chief and have him come in and do a walkthrough. In case there's any concerns there, he'll let you know. And once they let us know what's going on, then we'll be able to move forward. We have done a background check, and it came completely clean, so we have no worries or concerns there. So what we'll do now is we'll open up the floor to anybody else that has anything that they would like to say about this, but if you folks could get in to see Kenny Paul, there's office hours inside the town hall right there that'll tell you when he's here or his secretary's here, and they can tell you what the process is.
Okay?
Okay, and we have 90 days to answer you, but the sooner you get that done, the sooner we can have a meeting and answer you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Anybody want to speak on this? Yep, come on up.
Bill Palladino. Obviously, I own the property that abuts Mr. Crowley's property where the restaurant's going to be located. I'd like to know when Alan stepped down from being the manager over there. Has that already happened? Yep. Okay, what was the date?
The exact date? What's the date today? 27th? I would say it's 24th.
Okay. Only, the reason why I'm asking is because people were coming into the restaurant supposedly after they were told by your manager, Alan, that they could buy cocktails and walk across the street and bring them into his restaurant, which, goes back to one of the original concerns that I have with, how how the liquor license is going to be managed. Obviously, my concern is my well-being and the continued success of Willie's Ale Room and the Shed Restaurant. And it's kind of tough to be responsible for, people, when we abut property, the majority of the parking obviously is owned by us, probably 97% of it. And having to deal with the cross, I guess, use the word contamination of alcohol with people drinking outside, people coming over to buy liquor and thinking that they can walk across the street drinking it. We're not in Key West, we're in Acton, Maine. And all that does is cause aggravation for me and concern, for my establishment, if there ever was to be an issue. And then the obvious stuff is just the code enforcement stuff, sprinkler systems and occupancy and bathrooms and the other issue is the parking, and still we haven't addressed the parking issue, but I guess that could probably happen at a later date with Mr. Crowley and Apple Ridge, which is the company that holds the restaurant that we own.
Okay, as far as the parking goes, that, between whatever's going on there between you and Mr. Crowley,
Yep.
that's a personal thing, that's private property, and that's an issue between you folks. There's nothing in how we approve a liquor license that says that the selectmen are supposed to figure out how many parking spaces
Right.
there are and everything. That's the next step. We do the preliminary check, background check, complaints from abutters, which you are, criminal history, all that. And then we decide from there whether to approve at our step. As you know from being a licensed restaurant, that the next step is the state, and then the health officer comes in and the liquor commissioner's officer comes in. You can talk to them about that, because they have the power to do something about that. When it's on private property, as far as the parking and everything else, we don't actually give the license. We just do the preliminary check and then pass our information on to the state. So that's all we can do. We are asking them, as you heard, to come in and see code enforcement and make sure that they meet the town's codes. If they meet the town's codes, then there's nothing the selectmen can do. Then it's up to the state on whether they meet the state codes or not. Sprinkler systems come under the fire marshal. So the state would have to have the fire marshal sign off before they sign it. The health officer would have to come in and check it. But I imagine since they're already open, they've already had a health officer in there. So that one would already be done. So all we can do is what we're limited to, but we will definitely consider your input when
Okay.
we make our decision.
Has the occupancy been established yet, the occupancy number, or does that come from code enforcement?
The occupancy for
For the restaurant, number of seats,
well, that's what I'm saying. They have to apply for the conditional use permit if they haven't already.
okay.
And then that'll all be determined by the planning board. So that's why they'll need to do that as soon as possible.
All right. And I guess that goes a little further with servers being tip certified and the manager being tip certified. And I guess if they were tip certified, somebody would have had the knowledge that people can't be walking into the building with glasses.
Well,
Full of booze.
And that's part of what the planning board will do with the conditional use. As you know, your conditional use permit says that you have to have tips training,
Right.
as does Iron Tales. If it's not on, and I imagine it was on Krabby Bears. So, we will, sorry about that, I thought I had my phone shut off. We will definitely make that a requirement if it isn't already, okay? Because we want everybody to have the tips training, and that is something that the selectmen have the power to do, so,
Okay.
okay?
All right. Thanks.
Sure. Anybody else? All right then. If it's agreed, gentlemen, we'll have them go and talk to Kenny, and then once Kenny tells us that everything's okay with code enforcement, talk to Peter Smith, the fire chief. Once he tells us everything's okay, then we will set up a date. It'll be a Thursday night where we will vote on your permit. Then it goes to the next step, which is the state, and then the state does an investigation, and then they assign the permit to you. Then you come back to us every year for renewal if you get your license. Okay? Any questions? All right. Anybody else have anything they would like to add? All right. Thank you, folks, for coming, and as soon as you get us the information, we'll be ready to act, okay?
Thank you for your consideration.
Not a problem. Thank you. All right. A motion?
We have to sign that?
No, we can't.
Okay, great.
Yep.
I thought so.
Yep.
Good, okay. Seconded.
All in favor?